Alright, just a quick little video on bypassing the horn button on a mid-90s full-size front-wheel drive Buick or Oldsmobile, maybe other cars too, probably Pontiac. What happens is the cover for the airbag shrinks and activates the horn constantly. So it's been disconnected, but in order to get the horn going again, you need to come up with a button that goes someplace else. So right now it's been disconnected, the fuse is out, the horns are actually unplugged too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is the button for the trunk release, goes right in here, and I'm going to take that and replace it with the horn button, or excuse me, the trunk release out of a Park Avenue, which has two buttons. And you can notice the trunk button is at the lower position on this, and the fuel door release is at the top. So I actually had to go in and redo the wires on this connector, move the orange and black from the top to the bottom so that they will go to the bottom switch. The middle two are for the lights, and then I'm going to put two more wires in at the top, which will be for the horn. And we'll see how that goes. Alright, so the next step is to find where the wire goes up into the steering column and interrupt that. And it is connection A12 on connector C202, which is that one right there. And so I found the wire and I've cut it, and we can test that that's the horn. Yeah, you should be able to hear that. So next step is just to connect to that wire. Okay, so here we go. We got the black wire that goes to the engine wiring harness. This blue one here is one that I made. I used this little Wago connector. These are really convenient. They make a good connection, and there's no way I want to solder or try soldering up in here. I've had enough aggravation already. Maybe do a close up at the end of this video and explain what some of that was. But anyway, got this connection, and it is going up to here. I just got it held on with a clip so it didn't fall through. And then that little connector on the end will go into the, well, actually that little pin will go into this connector here. Then the next step is to take the other wire that I've got a pigtail here, and I've extended it so that I can find a good ground. Just need to put an eyelet on there and find some place to bolt it to, and then put both of these into the connector, hook up the switch, and I should have a horn. Okay, there's the ground. That is the stud for the kick panel, hush panel, whatever they call it, that has all this stuff in it that's held up by 4 screws. And there should be still enough room for the little screw that holds that on, a little wing nut. And even if not, I'm not too worried about it. So anyway, there's my wire. I'm going to run that up. I probably have it way too long, but that's okay. I really have too much than too little. Okay, kind of hard to do this one-handed, but if I touch these together, the horn should honk. Yeah, only got one horn hooked up right now. It'll sound better when I'm done, but anyway, next step is just to put it in that connector. What you do is you, where that little gray tab is on the side, push that in with a little screwdriver, pull that gray piece out. It's sort of a locking mechanism, and then these go in, well, maybe I can show you afterward. The wires are now in. That is the two black ones closest to us here. They just go and snap in. They are a certain orientation. To get these out, because I had to take out the orange and whatever that other one is there, to make it so it would be on the bottom switch. There are release tools. I didn't have a release tool, so I used a flat toothpick and just pushed that in there until I released the little tab, and then they came out. And it was, the first couple of times I did it, it was pretty difficult. I've actually done this on another car. I'll do that. I'll show you that at the end. But after I got the hang of it, it was pretty easy. So now it's just a matter of putting that little clip in there, and we'll plug in the switch. Okay, there we go. We've got the fuel horn. And I still don't have the dash all put back together. There's videos online about how to do that. Well, once they had to take it apart, and then they say, oh, just reverse it to put it back together. That's partly true, but there's a bunch of little tabs up in here. You got to kind of be careful. They have to slide in first. And then, of course, when you're taking it apart, you'll find that there's a screw hole up behind each face level vent, and you'll have to take those out. Plus, there are 4 clips along the top that you'll have to do. Okay, so I guess I didn't state it, but the whole idea of this was if you needed to put another horn button in because the one in the dash was stuck or the one in the steering wheel was stuck, then this is a way to do it without cutting a hole in the dash. Keeps it looking factory, although you got to remember that in this case fuel is the horn. And also did this, I mentioned a minute ago or earlier in the video that I did this on an Olds. You can see we kind of like cars with 3800s. Got the Lucerne here. Got a 94 Olds. And kind of the same thing, except I had to modify a switch out of a newer model that had fog lights. This one is a 94. It didn't come with fog lights, so all it had was the trunk release. So now I have 2 switches here, but the color doesn't exactly match. I'm not real happy about that, but I do have a horn. So same thing, and hope this brightens your day and gives you some ideas.